They made men and women enemies because unity doesn't sell. If you scroll long enough, you'll see it. Videos crafted like landmines, men mocking women, women mocking men, endless clips stitched together with sarcasm, statistics, and pain. Every frame designed to make you choose a side, every headline written to make you angry, every voice saying, "You see, they're the problem." But what if the real problem isn't them? It's the machine between you. Because this isn't chaos, it's choreography, a perfectly tuned engine of outrage, built to turn love into traffic and trust into revenue. It begins small. A clip, a comment, a headline. You feel something, a sting of recognition, a spark of anger, a flicker of self-defense. You click, you comment, you stay, and that's when the system learns you. It learns what hurts you, what hooks you, what holds you. It doesn't care if you're right or wrong. It only cares if you react, because reaction means engagement, and engagement means profit. It doesn't matter whether you're a man who feels unseen, or a woman who feels unheard. It doesn't matter whether you've been betrayed or abandoned. The system doesn't care. It only cares that you feel something. Anger works best. Resentment is second. Loneliness, if it's loud enough, will do. And once it finds your wound, it never lets it heal. Every scroll is a subtle incision. Every clip a reminder of what divides you. Until you no longer see people, you see categories. Men today, modern women, they're all the same. That's how the algorithm wins, not by changing what you believe, but by hardening it, by feeding you so much confirmation that you forget curiosity ever existed. They've built a world where empathy feels naive and understanding looks like weakness, a world where pain has become entertainment and disconnection is the product. The truth is, you were never meant to hate the other side. You were meant to question why someone built a system that makes hatred so easy, because division is the oldest trick in the book, but now it's digitized, branded, monetized, and every argument online, every sarcastic stitch, every viral quote about who ruined dating, it's all part of the same invisible assembly line, one that takes your attention, turns it into anger, and sells it back to you as content. They call it engagement, but it's really extraction, because every second you spend fighting the wrong enemy is a second the real one grows stronger. The system isn't broken, it's designed this way. Section 2. The Business of Outrage. Outrage is the most valuable currency in the modern world. It spreads faster than truth, it sells better than love, and it never runs out. The system discovered something brilliant and terrifying, that people don't share what makes them happy, they share what makes them angry, because anger feels powerful, it feels righteous, it gives you an illusion of control, even when you have none. That's why the algorithms don't care what side you're on. They just need you to pick one. Every argument, every us versus them video, every stitched debate feeds the same machine. They don't want peace. Peace is boring. Peace doesn't generate clicks. But outrage is addictive. It spikes your heart rate, floods your brain with adrenaline, and tricks you into thinking you're part of something meaningful. It feels like a fight for justice, but it's just marketing. Behind every viral clip, every trending feud, there's data being collected, sold, and optimized. Your anger isn't wasted, it's harvested. Every second you raid scroll is another ad impression. Every emotional spike becomes a data point, stored, measured, monetized. You're not just the audience, you're the product. The platforms profit when you fight. The media profits when you fear. The corporations profit when you feel broken. Because broken people buy more. They sell you healing and self-love, but only after they convince you you're unworthy. They sell you dating advice, but only after they convince you you're alone. They sell you confidence, but only after they've drained it from you. They've built an entire economy on dissatisfaction, and gender conflict is their crown jewel. It's the perfect perpetual motion machine. Men feel unseen, so they blame women. Women feel unsafe, so they blame men. Both sides feel justified, and the outrage keeps spinning. Meanwhile, the architects of this system, the advertisers, the tech giants, the content networks, sit quietly behind their screens, counting engagement like currency. They've realized that you don't have to create real enemies when virtual ones are cheaper and easier. All you need is friction. Friction drives clicks, clicks drive revenue, and revenue drives control. The genius of the system isn't that it lies to you, it's that it sells you your own reflection, just slightly distorted. It takes your genuine pain and feeds it back to you with poison mixed in, just enough to keep you scrolling, just enough to keep you angry. That's the business of outrage. And the profit? It's not in truth, it's in division, because the more we hate each other, the more predictable we become. And predictability, that's where the real money is. Section 3. The death of empathy. Something beautiful is dying, quietly, slowly, without protest. Empathy. Once, we could disagree and still care. Once, we could listen without planning a response. Now, it feels almost ancient, the idea of understanding before judging. We don't speak to each other anymore, we perform. Every thought is a post, every wound is content, every disagreement a stage for strangers to watch and applaud. You used to talk to people, now you talk at people. You used to share ideas, now you share arguments. The system didn't just monetize outrage, it industrialized disconnection. It took something fragile, something sacred, the human bond, and replaced it with dopamine. It told us that being right is more important than being kind, that winning an argument is the same as understanding someone, that likes are proof of truth. Empathy doesn't trend. Compassion doesn't go viral. No one profits when people forgive. But anger builds empires. Look around. We live in a marketplace of mockery. We sell sarcasm. We trade humiliation for applause. We turn heartbreak into hashtags and loneliness into likes. When someone shares their pain, we don't comfort them, we categorize them. We decide whether they belong to our side or the enemy's, and if they don't fit our narrative, we attack. It's not because we're cruel, it's because we've been trained to be. When outrage becomes routine, empathy feels foreign. It feels weak. It feels naive. We forget that empathy isn't agreement, it's humanity. It's the courage to feel what someone else feels, even when it's inconvenient. But that doesn't serve the system because empathy slows things down. It makes people think, pause, forgive, and the system can't afford that. It runs on momentum, on constant emotional churn. If you stop hating for even a day, the engine loses fuel. That's why it bombards you with extremes. Every feed, every clip, every voice, either a victim or a villain, never a human being. That's how empathy dies, not through cruelty, but through fatigue. You can't feel everything, so you stop feeling anything. And in that numbness, the system finds its victory, because people who feel deeply might change something, but people who feel nothing, they just keep scrolling. Empathy doesn't make money, but outrage. Outrage pays the bills. Section 4. The modern marketplace of loneliness. We are living in a marketplace built on loneliness. It doesn't sell products anymore. It sells identities, anxieties, and illusions of belonging. The system studied human need, like a scientist studying addiction. It learned how to turn longing into a business model. Every notification, every swipe, every ad isn't designed to make you happy. It's designed to keep you hungry. You don't open an app because you want to connect. You open it because you need to feel something. The system knows that. It counts on it. Every time you scroll through pictures of perfect lives, you're meant to feel incomplete. Every dating success story you see is carefully placed between reminders of your own isolation. You're not meant to find love there, you're meant to look for it forever. Because a person who finds peace stops consuming. A person who feels whole doesn't buy what emptiness sells. So they build platforms that promise connection but deliver addiction. They sell self-love while profiting from self-doubt. They preach confidence while designing filters that erase who you are. They sell freedom while you're chained to your screen. They whisper in your ear that happiness is out there, on the next date, the next match, the next purchase. And every time you reach for it, they move it further away. It's not failure, it's the formula, because this marketplace runs on perpetual dissatisfaction. If you ever felt truly content, the whole thing would collapse. And what they're really selling isn't even love, it's hope. The hope that maybe this time, this person, this message, this like will finally fill the silence inside you. They keep you chasing connection while ensuring you never quite reach it. That's the genius of the system. It turns your search for love into an endless subscription plan, and when you finally break down, they're ready with solutions. Books, podcasts, coaching sessions, retreats. They sell you peace like it's a product, then make sure it expires by morning. This isn't a glitch in the system, it is the system. A revolving door of dissatisfaction. A loop that begins and ends with emptiness. But here's the tragedy, loneliness wasn't always a market. It became one when we stopped treating it as human and started treating it as data. We forgot that loneliness isn't a flaw, it's a signal, a quiet plea for real connection. And in a world built on digital desire, that's the one thing they'll never sell you, because if you ever find it, you'll finally stop buying. Section 5. The gender war economy. Every war has an economy, and this one, the one between men and women, might be the most profitable of all, because nothing generates attention like resentment, nothing drives clicks like heartbreak, and nothing sells faster than fear disguised as empowerment. The system doesn't care which side you're on, it just needs you to fight. It needs you to stay angry, to feel misunderstood, to see the other side as the villain, because when you fight, you engage, and when you engage, they earn. The gender war isn't about equality anymore, it's about economy. It's about outrage being turned into inventory. Think about it. Dating apps make billions off disconnection. Influencers build careers by mocking the opposite sex. Media networks thrive on the chaos of broken relationships. Even the advice we consume, how to date, how to heal, how to level up, is often poison packaged as wisdom. The system plays both sides perfectly. To men, it sells strength through detachment. To women, it sells freedom through distrust. And both are told that love is weakness. That's the brilliance of the design. No one has to win for it to work. You just have to keep fighting. Because the longer the war goes on, the more predictable you become. Predictable in your anger, predictable in your pain, predictable in your purchases. When you believe you're fighting for dignity, you don't notice you're being mined for data. When you think you're taking a stand, you don't see that you're standing inside their framework. Even the rebellion is monetized. Even the silence is tracked. Every like, every view, every second of rage becomes revenue. We think we're speaking truth to power, but power owns the microphone. It's not men versus women anymore. It's profit versus peace. And peace doesn't sell. Unity doesn't trend. Understanding doesn't scale. Outrage is infinite. It can be automated, recycled, optimized. It never gets tired, never runs out, never demands empathy. It's the perfect product, because you can't run out of hate when the machine keeps feeding you more. And behind it all, faceless investors, marketing strategists, boardrooms where human pain is measured in metrics. They don't see gender, they see engagement. They don't see people, they see percentages. This is the gender war economy, where love is replaced by leverage when a connection is sacrificed for content. The system doesn't care who wins, it only cares that you never stop fighting, because peace is bad for business, and the business is booming. Section 6. The cost of division. What happens when men and women stop trusting each other? When love becomes a transaction, and connection becomes a risk. You get what we have now, a generation that confuses walls for protection and isolation for strength. Every time you scroll through your feed and see another video telling you who to blame, another podcast telling you who's the real problem, another post mocking vulnerability as weakness, you're watching the cost of division in real time. We have built an empire of loneliness. We live in cities full of people, but feel like ghosts among them. We communicate more than ever, but understand each other less. We share beds, but not hearts. We talk endlessly, but say nothing. This is the quiet apocalypse, not of fire or blood, but of intimacy. We used to crave connection. Now we fear it. We used to fall in love with people. Now we fall in love with the idea of being safe from them. Men retreat into bitterness, telling themselves they're better off alone. Women retreat into cynicism, telling themselves no one is worthy of trust. And the system applauds because fear is loyalty. If you've ever wondered why everything feels colder, why dating feels emptier, why conversations feel shorter, why laughter sounds rehearsed, this is why. The distance isn't accidental. It's engineered, because a society divided by distrust will never rebel. People who can't love each other can't unite, and people who can't unite can't change anything. So we drown in distractions, we chase validation instead of meaning, we post feelings we don't process, we scroll through lives we'll never live, we trade authenticity for aesthetics, we mistake performance for identity, we confuse being seen with being understood, and all the while, the system grows richer, on our heartbreak, on our suspicion, on our silence. This is the true cost of division, the death of belonging, the loss of warmth, the quiet extinction of trust. Because when men and women can't see each other as human anymore, everything else collapses. Families, friendships, even faith. It's not just about romance, it's about empathy, community, civilization itself. We're not falling apart because we hate each other. We're falling apart because we've forgotten how to see each other. And if we don't remember soon, if we don't stop feeding the machine, then love won't just be rare, it will be radical. Section 7. The awakening reclaiming unity. Every system eventually collapses under the weight of its own lies. And this one, the one built on our division, is no different. Because you can only sell people their pain for so long before they begin to notice the pattern. You can only pit them against each other for so long before they start asking, who profits? The cracks are already showing. Men are starting to realize that anger isn't strength. Women are beginning to see that cynicism isn't safety. Both are slowly remembering that the person on the other side of the screen isn't the enemy. They're another soul trying to make sense of the same loneliness. That's the awakening. Not some loud revolution, but a quiet refusal. A refusal to participate in the hate they profit from. A refusal to perform for algorithms that reward outrage over understanding. A refusal to believe that vulnerability is weakness. or that compassion is naive, because once you stop reacting, the system starves. Once you stop feeding the outrage, the machine runs out of fuel. The moment you see the strings, the puppet show loses its magic. They don't want peace, because peace isn't profitable, but peace is powerful. It's silent, steady, defiant. It's the one thing they can't control. When a man chooses to listen instead of attack, he breaks the loop. When a woman chooses to understand instead of assume, she rewrites the script. When both choose to heal instead of compete, the system loses everything. They wanted us divided because unity is unpredictable. You can't sell to people who trust each other. You can't manipulate people who care for each other. You can't control people who choose love over fear. That's the rebellion. Not louder voices, but softer hearts. Not more sides, but fewer walls. And maybe it starts with you. The next time you see that bait, the video, the headline, the argument, pause. Don't feed it. Don't share it. Don't let the system use your pain as content, because peace isn't passive. It's resistance. It's rebellion. It's the ultimate act of defiance in a world that profits from pain. We don't have to burn the system down. We just have to stop playing the game. And when we do, when enough of us refuse to hate, refuse to divide, refuse to see each other as enemies, something ancient returns. Empathy, connection, humanity. They can't sell that. They can only fear it, because when love stops being a product, it becomes power again, and that's when the system truly ends.